Good evening, Tallahassee. This is student meteorologist Joy Lone here to give you your Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. And it is a beautiful evening indeed. You can see the sunset starting to peek out beneath the clouds as it is still mostly cloudy like we've experienced this entire day, with a temperature of 71 degrees and a wind south at 9 miles per hour. It is beautiful, beautiful. And we're seeing a very common theme here throughout the entire Big Bend region. Pretty low to mid 70s, but we have a 65 down in Apalachicola, which will continue to get cooler as we make our way through the night. And there is absolutely nothing going on in terms of showers in the area, so it is a great day to go outside and go hang out with your significant other for some post-Valentine's Day hangout. And for tonight, we are starting to see some cooling down, but we're going to see some spring-like temperatures as we approach next week, and we're going to see a lot of severe weather in the south and the central U.S. All that and more here on FSU Weather.
Howdy Tallahassee, I'm student meteorologist Nikki Kanakis. We have a lot in store for you tonight. As Joy said during the headlines of our overview, we are currently, today has been pretty nice outside and it will also be warm tomorrow, but the big story that we have today is the severe weather event that's going to be happening in the south and central U.S. It's going to be a multi-day event, a lot of severe storms. We do have a hatch risk for tornadoes, so that should be interesting. Make sure that you're staying safe and staying updated on safety and other things to make sure that you're doing okay during the severe storm if you're in that area. And I'm going to pass things over to Evan.
Thanks, Nikki. So thankfully the severe weather isn't here yet. We do have this gorgeous sunset. I'll actually step out of the way here for a second. Look at how beautiful that is with those low clouds there, bringing out that pink color in the sky. I honestly didn't think that the clouds were going to clear for a nice sunset, but it looks like that won't be the case. We'll get a nice sunset peeking through the clouds there. So a nice treat here on this Wednesday afternoon. Still sitting at 71 degrees under mostly cloudy skies at Tallahassee International, and a southerly breeze at 9 miles an hour, getting some of that moisture back from the Gulf of Mexico. As for now, the radar is clear, and that's a good sign because if you have any late afternoon Valentine's Day plans that you may have that you missed yesterday, you can get those in tonight if you want to spend those outdoors. So that's a good thing you have going on tonight and also for tomorrow, but the rain threat returns for Friday. I'll get to that more in the 7-day forecast. Current temperatures are still in the low to mid 70s. The lone exception is down by the coast in Apalachicola, staying in the middle 60s. And that's because we have that wind coming off the cooler Gulf of Mexico, bringing in those cooler temperatures there with that marine influence. We did get up to 76 in Tallahassee today, so above our average of 68. And those spring-like temperatures will continue for the next couple of days before that cold front comes through here and cools us down a little bit for the weekend. The humidity is also back somewhat. Dew points are in the upper 50s to, say, the low 60s across the area, so it's a little more humid than it has been, and that's because we do have that southerly breeze once again bringing that up from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing in that moisture from the south. And that'll continue overnight tonight. The clouds may dissipate a little bit tonight, but they'll return for the day tomorrow in patchy areas as well, and we'll start to see some of those rain showers move in because the severe weather, as Nikki mentioned, because it's not like Vegas, it doesn't stay out west, it doesn't stay there, it has to come east. So that'll be here for the day on Friday as well. Tonight first, we're going down to the middle 50s across the area, mostly cloudy skies. Again, some of those clouds may dissipate as we go further on in the evening, but still there nonetheless. Widespread 50s, of course, for the area, and warmer temperatures down by the coast, sitting in the lower 60s there, again with that marine influence coming off the water. And tomorrow afternoon, we'll sit up near 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon, so another spring-like day, a great day to get outside and enjoy yourself before the rain comes in on Friday. Here again is that area-wide. Some places may hit above 80 degrees, so again, very abnormally warm temperatures for this time of the year. Again, the lone exception is going to be along the coast, stuck in the lower 70s there. Here's your 7-day. So the one nice day is Thursday. The rain threat does return for Friday. So the good news is that the rain will only last for the beginning part of the day on Friday. So that means that the baseball game against JMU at 5 o'clock on Friday evening should be a go, and will also be a go for the second game on Saturday and the third game on Sunday. Temperatures on Saturday only sitting in the lower 60s. Look at that low also on Friday night, going down to 37. So a taste of winter here in February. That's appropriate. But unfortunately for people that are a fan of the winter, The warmer spring-like temperatures return for the beginning of next week, hitting up towards the 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday, Nikki. I am not a fan of that coming from New York. Ow, what do you think of that?
You know, not my fave as well. I am a native Floridian, but these temperatures are just not doing it for me. It has been beautiful today, but we will be seeing warmer temperatures later in the week, so not the best. But right now we are seeing 70 degrees here, and then mostly 70s, but high 70s in Orlando, and farther south we also have higher 70s. Current dew points, it is pretty humid outside. We do live in Florida, so that is to be expected. We usually have these kinds of dew points normally, so nothing different than usual. But a contrast from this weekend, it was very wet here, and just right now, all of Florida is just dry, like not a lot going on there. We do have a little bit of rain in the New Orleans area, but in Florida, it is quite clear. Looking up in our area, there are some clouds, but as you can see, just no rain to be found on the map. So when we go over here at FSU Res, it is just a gorgeous day. As I've said already, 71 degrees here. That sun is setting over Lake Bradford. Just if you were able to get out today, just enjoy the sun, enjoy the rays. There's some clouds out now as the sun is setting. But when we reach Central Florida, it is also just clear here. Nothing different from when we saw the north or the bigger radar in the beginning of the segment. In Gainesville, our friends over at UF, it is 77 degrees, sunny outside. Again, another beautiful sunset over there for the Gators. But also for FSU students today, we did have our decisions come out for our high schoolers, so congrats if you made it into FSU today. We are glad to have you here. And as we reach South Florida, it's, again, very clear, nothing to worry about in the rain department. Miami, again, another gorgeous sunset, 76 degrees, warm, but it's spring in, well, almost spring in Florida. And for tomorrow's forecast, as we can see, it is also just going to be a scorcher out today. So just make sure that you're prepared when you walk to class or when you go outside, that you don't really need a jacket. And now I'm going to pass things over to Joy to talk about severe weather.
Thank you, Nikki. Severe weather is a very important thing to chat about because we're going to start to see a lot of it as the season comes up, and we're going to take a look at our day one convective outlook. There's a lot going on here in the south. We have a marginal risk. Those are some chances for some isolated thunderstorms, and we make our way to the slight area covering mostly all of Arkansas, parts of Louisiana and Texas. Those are, we're going to start to see some more severe weather that could be short-lived, but it's still very intense. But we do have an enhanced outlook, especially over Memphis over here, big city. That is something we need to look out for. We have some very, very dangerous storms, especially a lot of large hail and dangerous wind. And with that comes tornado risk as well. It is the breeding property, the breeding grounds for these storms. And here we can see the little black lines, hatched area, meaning a 10% chance for EF2 or stronger tornadoes. These are very deadly tornadoes, so make sure that you have your severe weather preparation guides prepared. Make sure that you're aware of what's going on, and we could see a lot of tornadoes in the area as well. And so far, we just have a severe thunderstorm watch around Dallas and a severe thunderstorm warning, but not really much else going on. And you can see that storm popping up right by Dallas. It's just coming out of nowhere, so you have to be ready. You can't just expect it to come out whenever. Like it just popped up. There it is. Boom, right there. You weren't expecting that. So make sure that you are prepared for storms like this. And in the future, you can start to see that front form. It's really, really strong. It's moving its way towards the south, and it's going to bring some nightly tornado risks. And then throughout Thursday, more hail and lots of wind. So again, make sure that you're prepared for that, especially if you're in the south. We are informing you now to be prepared. And with our day 2 outlook, that enhanced risk moves across this area, even up into Ohio, rather than just being in Memphis, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, and even we have the marginal risk going all the way up to Buffalo, New York. So it will be a crazy, crazy day for severe weather. So make sure that all of you are safe and prepared. And in terms of tornadoes, that hatched is not going away. We're going to see some enhanced outlooks for Jackson and even into Alabama area. And with our severe weather overview, we have a multi-day severe weather present in the deep south and the central U.S. and we really are going to see a lot of hail, but the tornado threat will develop into the nighttime. So make sure that if you are staying awake at night, don't put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Make sure that you can hear the warnings, and we will start to see a lot of the severe storms into the Ohio Valley tomorrow. And now we're going to pass things off to Evan to talk about the southeast.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Joy. So the southeast, at least for some of us, is still clear for the foreseeable future going into Thursday and Friday. That's when we start to get that severe threat that you were just talking about. But places like Atlanta, Bowling Green, looking a little cloudy there, and that's because we do have some showers working their way into that part of the southeast right now. The places like Gainesville, Florida, and Blacksburg, Virginia are looking clear for now. That'll change as we go later in the week, and we'll get to that later on. Temperatures are still in the 70s widespread across the southeast. The lone exception is further up to the north, like Atlanta and Charlotte. In the middle 60s right now, lower 60s as well. I don't think that my forecast for Atlanta for Weather Challenge today is going to verify, but that's not the end of the world. I wasn't doing that great anyway. But you can start to see where that cold front is coming in. You can see the stark contrast between the warm temperatures out ahead of it and the much cooler temperatures behind it. We'll get in on some of that later this week, and it'll also knock down our dew points. Our humidity levels will drop behind the front as well, and you can see out ahead of the front, we're getting all that moisture from the Gulf, and that's why dew points are widespread in the 60s right now. So very, very humid and a little uncomfortable, especially in New Orleans, sitting at 68 on their dew point right now. So that's very muggy there, and that's also why they have a lot of moisture in the air. We also have a lot of warm temperature anomalies. Look how this pink and magenta here, that's almost 30 degrees above normal for this time of the year. So feeling more like spring, maybe even summer in some places. So this is very abnormal for February. And part of the reason why those warm temperatures and that humidity is contributing to this severe threat that we have today. So places like Memphis, Little Rock, over down towards Baton Rouge, also back into Texas, places like Dallas, Fort Worth as well, dealing with that severe threat today. And we're starting to see some of that flare up. We also have a newly issued severe thunderstorm watch, as well as this blue portion here. That blue polygon is an active severe thunderstorm warning. We'll take a look at that as well. Right on the border of Oklahoma and Texas, you can start to see it flare up right there, and we'll start to see more of those storms start to percolate as we go later on tonight. And that's also the thing that Joy was just talking about. This is going to be a nocturnal threat. You can see this threat goes throughout the night and into the day tomorrow. Plenty of rain blossoming on that future radar. So like she said, if you are going to bed tonight, you want to make sure you're getting a way of receiving those warnings, whether it be a NOAA weather radio. If your phone has those alerts sent to you, make sure it's not on Do Not Disturb tonight. Keep it active so you can hear it. It'll wake you up in the middle of the night in case you need to seek cover. We'll also have plenty of rainfall to deal with throughout the southeast, places like Memphis and New Orleans and anywhere in between, dealing with maybe even up to 5 inches of rainfall in some isolated locations. So that's definitely something to watch out for. Tomorrow, you can see where that front is, right about there, and that's where we have that severe threat for tomorrow. But I want to pass things over to the desk with Nikki and Joy, and they're going to take a look at some weather history. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, that's right, Evan. Thank you. So we were talking a lot about severe weather in terms of tornadoes and heavy rainfall, but we're going to go back in history just a little bit to talk about a significant snowstorm that happened in the Northeast in 2003. It developed in the Southern Rockies on the 14th, and it brought a lot of heavy rain and ice and a lot of severe weather in the South, but in the Northeast, it did something completely different.
Wow. Yep, it did last quite a few days from February 14th to February 19th, 2003. I was just a baby then, but I bet it was crazy. All the cities from DC to Boston absolutely covered with over a foot to over 2 feet of snow in some places.
Yeah, that is insane. The cities were basically shut down, and we saw snowfall records were completely broken. In Baltimore, 28.2 inches, and Boston, 27.5 inches. That is a lot of snow. And in Baltimore, a very famous museum, the roof actually broke because of all the snow that fell. So it was pretty crazy.
That is absolutely insane. But it wasn't just snow that the storm brought. It was also responsible for 9 tornadoes in Florida and Mississippi, which is crazy to think a northeast storm could do that to a place like Florida.
Indeed, and we have a picture of a buried car in Severna Park, Maryland. You can't even see the car actually. It is completely buried in the snow, and even in the background you can see just snow piling up everywhere. If you look at the mailbox at the back, it's almost like past it at this point. So you could just see how detrimental the snowfalls were. People could not go outside.
Yeah, it's always important to make sure that you're ready for a storm like this. Make sure you're always prepared, knowing what the weather's going to be like, making sure that you have food and something to keep you warm, like a generator, if your power goes out.
Of course. I mean, I did say people didn't go outside, but of course college kids are going to be college kids. And here are some college kids at MIT playing football in the snowstorm. But I wouldn't recommend doing that. If you are in a severe snowstorm like these people were, I would recommend staying indoors and making sure that you have everything you need to stay safe, and make sure you stay warm because temperatures can drop rapidly and it will not be fun.
Yeah, those college kids are a different breed.
They really are.
Yeah, but if you look at this graphic right here, it kind of shows like how deep people were in snow, with that pink being over a foot to 2 feet. And even in a place where there's less snow, that's like crazy to think. Like if you had a small child, like you could lose that kid in the snow.
Right. So if you do have a snowstorm like that, make sure you stay safe and be prepared, because snow may be pretty, but it's also not fun. But now we're going to pass things back off to Evan at the green screen.
Yeah, thanks guys. We're going to take a broader look at the national. And speaking of that cold weather and snow that you guys were just mentioning in history, we have a lot of that out west. Look at these current temperatures sitting in the teens and 20s at 6:17 Eastern time. That's 4:17 Mountain time out west. So the highest temperature of the day, 14 in Denver, Colorado. That's just insane to me that they're dealing with this kind of cold. And thankfully we won't get on some of that cold here in Tallahassee, but we'll still get cooler for the weekend. Not that cold. I don't know if I could deal with that. I know I'm from New York, but still, Florida has weakened me. But we'll see some of that on the dew points. You can see that the humidity is much higher in the southeast, where we have that ongoing severe threat, and we're cooler and drier behind the front where that cold weather is. So we'll start to get, like I said, we'll get on some of that in Tallahassee. Not a whole lot of it, we'll get a taste. And another thing with that humidity is that heat. Look at how warm we are in the eastern U.S., all the way up to the Great Lakes in the UP of Michigan. All the way up there, we're dealing with temperatures 30 degrees above average for February. Places in the northeast tomorrow could be in the 60s and 70s. Newark, New Jersey today hits 70 degrees. It's February 15th. That's insane. Hit 70 degrees on February 15th. That's just ridiculous. And you can see why. We have all this moisture and warmth being pumped up from the south, and that's why we're so warm and muggy here in the southeast. And behind this cold front, you can actually see the surface low starting to develop here in the panhandle of Texas with that counterclockwise swirl. Behind that, we get much cooler air coming in from Canada. So we'll start to get on some of that here in Tallahassee later on this weekend. There is that surface low right where I pointed that out in the panhandle of Texas starting to develop, and that's going to start to fuel that severe threat. There again is that severe thunderstorm watch for Oklahoma and Texas going through this evening. And again, this will become much more widespread. All these rain showers will become much more widespread as we go throughout the evening tonight. As we'll look at water vapor also, you can see the upper level low starting to spin in the four corners here. So that's another trigger that will start to have an impact on that severe weather threat going through tonight and tomorrow as well. There's also a cold side to the system though, and that has, of course, snow. And you can see that's partially east of Denver, working into parts of Nebraska and Kansas right now. A whole swath of this area could receive upwards of 5 inches of snow going out throughout tomorrow. So unfortunately, that snow will not be spreading to the northeast. We'll be well above average in terms of temperatures again tomorrow and Friday. New York City has a chance to break a couple of records going through the next couple of days. Again, temperatures will be in the 60s there. Just unbelievable warmth for February. And also we're dealing with that warmth and humidity and severe threat in the Gulf Coast. So places like Mississippi and Alabama will be under the gun for that severe threat tomorrow. It has been detailed by Joy earlier on in our show with that severe coverage. And you can see also on this 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, that warmth is not going to go away anytime soon here in the southeast. We have a well above average chance of seeing some above normal temperatures here in the southeast. Tallahassee is really right in the middle of that and the cooler weather stays up in the northwest, where they're dealing with cooler temperatures and some snow. So much needed snow too. It hasn't really been, there haven't been too many winters in recent memory that have featured this much snow in the western areas, so they really need that. And we also can see that on the precipitation, we'd be above average in that area as well. So that cold and above average precipitation means that snow is in the forecast for places out west. Not so much in the east though. Warmth and precipitation means rain instead of snow. So that snow drought is going to continue in the northeast, although we will see some beneficial rainfall for the central U.S. The southeast doesn't really need the rainfall, but they'll still get on it no matter what. For tomorrow, again, there's that severe threat in the southeast, and we are much cooler behind the front. 20s and 30s for daytime highs in the Midwest and upper northern tier, if I can get my words out right. But now we're going to pass things off to Nikki, I believe. Yes, and she's going to take a look more locally at that lifestyle forecast in Tallahassee.
Yes, I'm going to be telling you what's hip and happening. If you want to be doing something this week, we have some beautiful views over the water here in St. George Island, and also Panama City always has a beautiful, beautiful pink sunset. Every time I do the show, it's just an absolute gorgeous sunset. We are at Doak, looking also at a gorgeous sunset over our beautiful stadium, our big brick structure. 71 degrees. It is cloudy, but you can still see those pinks coming out in the back there, and it should just be a gorgeous night to go out and take a look at the sunset. If you are flying to or from Tallahassee, it is going to be clear. You should have no delays in your flight, but if you are going to or coming from other airports, most of them are good, but when we get to Denver, as Evan said earlier, there's a bit of snow, 12 degrees there, and you know, sometimes when there's snow, you can't really get the plane off the ground. So if you are flying to or from there, that might pose a bit of a problem. For our dog walk forecast, or should I say catwalk forecast, we have Joy's cat here. It should be a beautiful night to do so. 57 degrees if you are a really early morning riser, but if you wait just a little bit, it does warm up significantly to 73, which I think will be gorgeous. With just a few clouds in the sky, it should make for a great day to walk your cat. If your cat likes to go on walks, or if you have a dog, or if you don't have any pet, you can walk with your friend to class. That's what I like to do. If you are watching the stars tonight, it's not a great night for that. As you could see in the sunset over Doak, it's pretty cloudy outside, so not the best time. But if you wait maybe a day or two, it'll be better conditions for watching the stars. But in sports news, FSU softball is playing Arizona in the 727 Clearwater. I'm from the 727 myself. It's going to be warm and sunny outside, so it should just be a beautiful day to watch FSU softball hopefully beat Arizona tomorrow. FSU women's basketball, we are doing great this season for women's basketball. We are going to be playing at the Tucker Center tomorrow night at 6. Y'all should go out and watch to see them win, because I bet they will. And also for men's, they're playing tonight at 7 against Clemson, and it should be a little cold. Make sure you might need to wear a rain jacket if you're going to or from the stadium. But this weekend, Friday, watch out for that rain, and it's going to get cold, but make sure you're staying alert and making sure you stay up to date on the weather to make sure that you are having a good weekend. Now I'm going to pass things off to Joy.
Okay, let's talk about Tallahassee once again. We can see our sunset is starting to diminish over here. You're not really seeing a lot of sun, you're seeing a lot of cloud, and 71 degrees still, so it is still another beautiful night here in Tallahassee. Beautiful, not so winter-like day, but at least we don't have any storms in sight. So it would be a lovely night to actually go to the beach, maybe take a swim with your friends, maybe go out and just have fun. And we're seeing the same temperatures happening across the Big Bend region. Pretty warm in Perry at 76, but down in the coast in Apalachicola it is 65. As Evan mentioned, we have like that southerly Gulf of Mexico breeze bringing in some cool but moist temperatures. And for our almanac, 76 degrees is our high, is pretty above average. It is starting to feel like spring, but at least we didn't hit our record of 82, although that is only 6 degrees short of it, but at least we did not hit our record low of 21 degrees Fahrenheit. That is very, very, very cold. So it was pretty average in terms of the lower temperatures, and it's pretty muggy here in the Big Bend region. The dew points are 59 in Tallahassee. It's across the same around the Big Bend region, so it's just going to feel a little bit stuffy outside. And if we take a look at our future, there's not really much going on except for some clouds passing through the region, but you can see a couple of pop-up showers here and there. They're kind of coming and going, so it's not really too much to be worried about. We should just be worried about seeing a whole bunch of clouds in the area. Not really much going on in terms of rain though. And tonight it will be 55 and mostly cloudy, so if you did want to walk your dog tonight, maybe bring a jacket. It won't be too breezy though, so it won't be too bad. And that will be the same idea for everyone else in the Panhandle. Even 63 in Apalachicola is a little chilly in my opinion. And tomorrow in Tallahassee, 79 degrees. It is really starting to feel like spring here in February in Tallahassee with a pretty strong breeze of 15 miles per hour. But again, another beautiful day. I would highly recommend going on Landis Green and studying for your exam with such a beautiful day. And tomorrow, 79 again in the region in Monticello, 80 in Quincy. We're starting to see 80s peak out, so it's not really feeling like winter anymore. And for our week ahead, as Nikki mentioned, we are going to see that rain chance with those pop-up showers. It's not much to be concerned about, but once that front passes over, the temperatures will drip down 37 on Saturday and 41 on Sunday. So make sure you have your jackets. And now we're going to pass things off with Evan at the desk.
Yeah, thanks, Joy. And like you said, that overnight low Friday night into Saturday morning is going to be 37. That's quite the change than what we have been experiencing. We have high temperatures in the upper 70s and lows in the 50s. That's quite the difference from going from really spring, backtracking a little bit, going back into winter, which we should be in February after all. It feels more like spring. I know I said that I'm from New York and these warmer temperatures have weakened me, but I gotta say, a slight cool down here and there is not the worst thing in the world. And it won't be overly cold either. It's gonna be a beautiful weekend. Saturday's going to be in the lower 60s. Sunday's going to be in the upper 60s. So really just a gorgeous weekend for some baseball, because we do have opening weekend for Florida State baseball taking on James Madison University this weekend at Dick Howser Stadium. So make sure that you head out to the stadium and support those Noles on the baseball field. Hopefully my Yankees can do a little bit better than they did last year. Now, opening day is in a little bit more than a month. I just have to throw that out there because I am a diehard Yankees fan. But anyway, you guys can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather. You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather. And because we will no longer be streaming on WFSU starting April 1st, you can watch us live on YouTube at youtube.com/FSU Weather. And you can also follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. And also you can follow us on TikTok at FSU Weather. That's also something that you can follow us on. That's something new that we're starting, and we have gained a lot of followers already, so make sure you go give us a follow on there. But I'm going to pass things back over to Nikki at the wall, and she's going to give us one last look at our 7-day forecast.
Yes, thank you, Evan. So for the week ahead, what we're really looking out for right now is Friday. It seems like it's going to be a very rainy day, so make sure that you are wearing your rain jacket on your way to and from class if you need to, but we should be seeing a cool down and warm up again.